What up, YouTube? I'm glad you guys are here. And today, what I wanted to discuss in part of the Korean slash the English, the cultural, intercultural, the podcast, is the ripple effects and a lot of the dynamics that the BTS brought to our global community. Specific. I want to focus on like how COVID-19 happened to rise and how the BTS songs and their influence basically got impact on a lot of us daily lives. What I mean by that is, back in the early 2020, right, from Wuhan, China, the COVID-19 outbreak has been started, and it got really huge and got really serious to the point that the eventually, ultimately, the WHO, standing for the World Health Organization, proclaimed it as the global pandemic. And up until now, like so many other countries and global people are suffering from the consequences of this the pandemic. Regardless of their areas such as the economy and health, family relationships, education, healthcare, and whatnot. Um, Seriously, like the life after the COVID definitely got changed before the COVID. So I'd say some people call it as it's kind of the breaking point or such a milestone period, which divides between the BC and AD, standing for before Christ and Domini. But in the meantime, as a college student or early 20s or late 20s, like who strive to find a job or to study of what they want to do. Like when I talk with a lot of youngsters these days here in Korea, um, it's kind of like a little bit of half and half. Half of them are sort of the give up status. The older they become, like they don't see any hope or any future of this kind of country and this current circumstances. But the other half, are having actually I wouldn't say a blast, but they're grappling with their current scenarios and they really want to get out of their comfort zones and they want to just basically overcome their difficulties and everything. Um, in particular, as you can tell, the job market plus the housing price globally, including Korea, is on the downside. Actually, a lot of young people they can't afford housings, which stop them from getting marriage or even have them start even dating one another. And these kind of scenarios and occurrences also impacted on a lot of the younger teens or the middle school and high schoolers, who even can't get their straight out, even can't get head out, after they even go to the college or, like we used to have this kind of belief that once you get a good grade and get in a good school, get a good job, then the rest of your life will be guaranteed based on off of that kind of ideas, right? So you could probably own a car or a house, and you could definitely establish a family, but um, the older they become, there are a lot of actually, I'll say, discrepancies and inequalities and a lot of injustice coming up. Um, so yeah, some people see it as sort of the double-edged sword. But what I want to point out today is the BTS new songs that they released actually back in 2021. Actually, yeah, right. We only have like less than a month and a half left by the end of 2021. The Butter, Permission to Dance, like these series of songs were sort of the sequels of their previous songs, such as like the Dynamite. They indeed gave us a lot of hope. They didn't just, in Korean we say 희망 고문, standing for the promising and hopeful future for everybody, but they want us to at least love ourselves and stand calm and we face the reality, but at the same time, like they all the time try to turn our hats into the positive note, which I think is such a really great signal for a lot of people. Because no matter how much we complain about the people or the situation around us, like nothing could change easily, right? But the BTS at least, indeed, as a youngsters who grew up from kind of I wouldn't say poor, but sort of underprivileged family, they just seized their opportunities and they just worked their head really hard to the point that they just made their own self-made success, which I think is very respectable. And they just broke a lot of the social norms and racism and cultural injustice and a lot of stereotypes of stigmas that the Korean males plus Asian males or a lot of the Asians or whatnot, the Eastern countries used to have. I think they indeed impacted a lot of the K wave and K culture. As you can tell, these days the school game is such a huge thing, and seriously, like all the general standard of beauty or popularity has got changed. And I think that I'm not only supporting BTS, but I'm also supporting a lot of other fellows or groups. I really think that the other boy bands or girl bands or any influencers should step up and come up to the front and to the public and speak up their own voices and opinion, which could minimize the miscommunications going on between the East and the West, or the haves and have-nots. Whatever the conflict or the culture clashes that we have, like, we have to minimize it. And for the most part, I think BTS has done a wonderful job. And I could get into more details about a lot of teeny tiny things, but today I'll just stop over here, because maybe you guys could leave me any comments about any subtopics that you want me to discuss, or if you have any questions regarding any career in life, I'm more than happy to let you know. Of course, there are a lot of cool YouTube channels like telling you here's and that's of Korean, but as a person who grew up in Korea for 20 years, and I also grew up in, spent almost half of my 20s in Americas, I definitely have huge pride and self-confidence that I could give you sort of objective slash, some professional opinions regarding all different topics. So I'm very happy to open up this podcast channels, and I'm very willing to take in anyone's opinions or their feedback or takeaways. So in the meantime, I really wish you have the rest of the great day, and please stay tuned on my channels. If you like it, please at least give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. Okay, take care and have a great day.